Hey boys and girls, today we're working on Unit 2, Lesson 4, our nonfiction unit. And we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm going to go over the learning target and we're going to help find a main idea today. And I can chunk the text into parts and think about what each part is about. So, readers, today I want to teach you that once readers know how a nonfiction text is complex, when it comes to the main ideas they want to develop, they can develop and draw on a toolkit of strategies to support you in determining the main ideas. And so when main ideas aren't stated straight out, they're implicit. That's when they're hidden. I think we talked about that in a previous video, that they're hidden main ideas. You have to pick apart the text and we have to chunk it. We have to read parts and pause and ask, what does this seem to be about? And sometimes we really need to go back and reread. And I think many of you have found out you've been rereading a lot during nonfiction, probably rereading more during nonfiction than you read during fiction. And so I'm going to show you this video clip. It's about New York City. It's only 2 minutes long. It goes really fast. And as you watch it, I want you to think, what is one main idea being put forward? And to do this, it says you need to chunk the text. You need to jot down 4 to 5 possible ideas in your notebook as you do this. But for them to be a main idea, you need to narrow it down to just 2 ideas. So you're going to jot down your ideas. What are they talking about? And then you're going to put them together to see if you can come up with 1 or 2 main ideas. So think about that. I'll play the video clip for you.
New York City, America's preeminent metropolis. 8 million people, the most densely populated urban center in the United States. But this enormous city's population and geography make it especially vulnerable to emergencies. If a fire, hurricane, or blackout occurs, are you prepared?
In an emergency, are you prepared to make decisions to help ensure the safety of you and your family? Do you have a plan? Are you ready, New York? New York City is no stranger when it comes to the forces of nature. We've been hit by hurricanes, heat waves, and winter storms. But we're also vulnerable to disasters such as power outages, building collapses, and fires.
From flash floods to tornadoes, weather extremes have been on the rise. As a result, New York's aging water, power, and transportation grids may be disrupted.
New York City, just in its geographical location, is a problem with emergencies and catastrophic events.
And weather extremes often have devastating effects on New York City's infrastructure.
But if a hurricane followed a critical path and created a storm surge, you could have a wall of water 21 feet, much of lower Manhattan, the Bronx, all the airports, it would be underwater.
All right, so now that you watch that, and you can go back and watch it again if you need to, just rewind the video. And you had to think of, what are some main ideas? And it talked a lot about disasters, like what can you do to be prepared for a disaster? And the other thing that it talked about was cities can be dangerous places to live. Not only New York City, but large populated places. They can be hard to evacuate. The power could go down and it would take a long time to get the power back up and running. So 2 main ideas that were really talked about in that really quick video clip. So now what I need you to do is think about this with the text that you're reading. And you're going to find a familiar part that you've already read so you can reread it. And remember, longer text, we can't just say back every little thing the text is teaching. That would be more like retelling when you're younger student. Now you want to be able to summarize and come up with just like a teeny tiny main idea. How do these chunks fit together? What is the main idea? And what are the strongest supportive details? So as you read, that's what I want you to think. So here's some more written details. With longer texts, you're reading now. We can't just say every little thing back. We'd be talking forever. So you're going to notice individual chunks and put them together thinking, how do these chunks fit together? What are the main ideas? And what are the strongest supportive details? What really helps get the main idea across? And so now to do this work, this is your job today. You're going to find a part in the book that you've read before, and you're going to reread it, and you're going to think about the main ideas. What are the main ideas the author's trying to teach me? And when you find that part, jot down those main ideas and some supportive details. And so here's a few things to keep in mind as you head off to read. A lot of times the main idea is not going to be stated clearly. It's implicit. It's hidden. And also remember that there will often be multiple main ideas that fit together. So push yourself to really identify these things and try and find what's the most important, the most dominant in the text. That will be tricky. So that's what you're working on today. If you don't quite understand, reread and, rewind the video and watch again. So these things, you need to use a text structure to help organize. You're going to pretend that you're teaching somebody else, and you're going to use a text structure to organize your teaching. You're going to know your main idea and supporting details. You're going to use an explaining voice and use gestures. And you're going to use a teaching finger to point at charts or illustrations and diagrams. So by the time you're done with this, you should be able to point out main ideas and supporting details. Show what charts and illustrations help with this, and you should be able to teach a partner in class. Good luck with that. Work hard, please. Go off and read.